Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. Let's talk Apple earnings and Apple earnings only. Let's focus on business. Let's focus on making money. Let's look at stocks. Let's have a healthy conversation. Unlike the previous live stream, shall we? Let's do it. Let's get straight into why we are here, what this channel is all about. So, are you ready? Apple earnings. We're off and running. We're bouncing all over the place. I wonder if I can tune in to... No, I won't do it that way. Let me go over to the Apple earnings, which is coming up in 29 minutes. We're still waiting for the feed to come through. Let me refresh the screen. Let's bring all our numbers in. The overall market is up today. Apple is the biggest part of the S&P. So if it does well, I do well. We all do well. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Apple is going down at the moment big time. Let me go back to the news. Trending news. Okay, OpenAI. Anything yet from Apple? Not just yet. Let me open up a second screen. Here we go. We're going to keep an eye on it. New tab to the right. Okay. I didn't mean to do that. I should do a duplicate tab. That's what I want. Oops, a daisy. Duplicate. Yep, there it is. Apple, AAPL. Apple's bouncing around. The overall portfolio is up. Virgin Galactic is still up. The Roth IRA is up. We're at $3,000 from an all-time high. Let's see where we end up. Apple, here we go. Apple declares a 25-cent dividend. Apple, UPS, okay. Spending on X, also in sorts. Chips. Let's have a look. Here we go. Waiting for this. Not out yet. What does it say? Okay, we're watching it bounce around. Apple declared a 0.25 share quarterly dividend in line with previous. Forward yield 0.42, payable February the 13th to shareholders. Nice. Have we got anything else? So just the dividend at the moment. Nothing else yet. Let's see if we get earnings. We're watching for it. Earnings. That was October 31st. November, December, January. Yeah, we're waiting for that. We haven't got it yet. Upcoming earnings. We're waiting for the earnings to follow. Stand by. Oh, no. I thought I had it then for a moment. But I'm watching closely. Nothing yet. We'll keep our eye out. Any second now. And if you've just tuned in, welcome to all of you. Please tap the like button and consider subscribing. That would be absolutely wonderful. Let's see who's here. Smash the like button on the way in. Lestin Win. Smashed. James. Thank you. How are you? Steve. Smashed. Smashed, says Savage Faith Creation. Stacey Bailey. How are you? Still waiting for the earnings to come out. We haven't got it yet. Any second now, I should have it. Here we go. Now okay, there's the there's the audio from Apple. You always know it's going to be audio, and the moment you play it, you're going to get yourself 100% guaranteed copyright. They don't care. They don't want anyone to stream their stuff at all. So there you go. The conference will be in 24 minutes. So I've got the music coming through. I've got it all ready to roll. This is the broadcast here. You're going to get the best broadcast here. Hang on, what's going on here? How long's this been doing this? How long's that been on there? Okay, the Virgin Galactic extra channel. I've got to just remove something from the playlist because at the moment we're just going round and round on something that hasn't happened yet. So I've just got to change that. Keep our eye out for Apple. Just bear with me. Just going to take that out of the playlist. Upcoming. Just bear with me a second. I've got something messing up the SBCE. There we go. Just something messing up the event over here. Just stand by. Just stand by, folks. Okay, all fixed. So Apple announced quarterly 240 share expected 3. Hang on a minute. Was that the earnings? Let me just have a quick look. Announcement date. I just saw it. Just bear with me. I just saw Apple earnings pop up on the screen and I missed it. Let me go back to it. The Apple earnings. So where are we? Yes, it's a beat. 234, 240. It was regarded as a low bar, but nevertheless, it's a beat. Okay, good. We've got a beat for Apple at the moment. It's not being digested yet. It's just this second come out. No one's paying attention to it, but it is a beat. It's down. It's starting to come up now. Look, can you see it? Is it going to come up? I don't know. It has beaten though, which is good. We've got 20 minutes to go before the earnings call begins. And there we go. Let's check everything. We got any comments coming in? Matt Dillon, anyone sees an Indian Steve Perry impersonator that runs GRRR, get my 6,000 back for me. Steve Perry impersonator that runs get my 6,000 back for me. 240. It's coming up now. The S&P should go up. We've beaten on earnings, so Apple is the biggest part of the S&P. So if this pops up now, it is a beat. We should see the S&P go up with it. You're starting to see it move now. Let's see. People are just digesting this. What does it mean? It's more to do with the guidance, though. Where are they expecting to go? What part will AI play in this? We'll find out in a few seconds. If you've just tuned in, click subscribe, ring the bell, and tap the like button. That would be absolutely fantastic. Come on, Apple. Let's have a good night. Let's drive the S&P up to all-time highs tonight. This will be good. We want to hear from them. In fact, I'll go green. There we go. We're going to focus on being green because the overall markets are green. In fact, I need to be red, don't I, really? We are red at the moment. So we'll be red until we can turn green. How's that? Is that fair? I think that's fair. We'll be red until we can turn green. Woo! What a night. I'm really, 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 really pleased. And it's great that this has happened. We gained subscribers during that. Not many, 3. And I'm glad because I didn't want a surge of, oh, he doesn't like Trump, so let's all support him. Or, oh, he doesn't, or he loves Trump, that's whatever. I wanted not to have any real change, and I'm glad I only gained a couple of people. So that's good. I don't want to make a video out of it. I don't want it to sell it. I just wanted to have my opinion and talk to you, the family, and get some feedback. So I'm really, really pleased that it hasn't made any difference to the channel whatsoever. Really, really good. Didn't want to gain from it. Didn't want to lose from it. I just wanted to do something, I don't know, real and honest. Right. Okay. Let's get ready to go. just a few minutes to go. We've got 19 minutes. The stock is going down. I guess guidance isn't acceptable. That's what it will be. It's beat on earnings, but it was a low bar. People wanted to see Apple do much better. Remember, the stock, like Nvidia, is priced to perfection. But remember I told you, and boy, was I right. Did I tell you that the defensives, we talked about Coca-Cola, they're all up today, as I said. J&J, they're all up. And I also told you that the strength is not the tech, it's the financials. And look at that. My portfolio is up $1,000 today, and Nvidia is low, Apple is low. That right there, if you ever needed any evidence that the S&P 500 is the way to go right now, there is your answer. Right there. Very clear. Maybe if you turn it green, it will manifest green act as if they say. Market is not good today. I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, Jay. The S&P is another high again. My portfolio is up again today. It's a fantastic run. I don't know what you mean. I'm very near an all-time high. I've been saying over and over again, it's rotation, profit taking from tech. It'll come back. But it's moving into defensives, it's moving into financials and healthcare, and I was right. Again, so my Roth is all Coca-Cola, that's up, it's outperforming the S&P, I said it would, and the financials in the S&P are outperforming the tech, that's why the S&P is up. So imagine when money comes back into Apple and Nvidia, my portfolio is going to be reaching all-time highs very, very quickly. And it will happen. People just taking profit and returning. That's all they're doing. It will be an important earnings call for Apple. They really need to show us that the future to keep the momentum going, hoping for the best. Khaled, yes, me too. I'm up 14,000 in the last 2 weeks. Congratulations. So you're saying the market isn't good today, but you're up to 14 grand in 2 weeks. I mean, it's only one day, but I think it's great. RVR Magic said, politics should not affect business decisions. If that was the case, I would not own half the stocks I do. Watching this channel is a business decision. I think that's a compliment. Thank you very much. Will you be covering the earnings call for Intel? When is Intel? When is Intel? If you are a member of the channel or you're not a member. If you are a member of the channel and you do a $5 super chat, I can cover Intel earnings. I can cover 4 earnings a day. So yes, but you're not a member, so I have to focus on the members. And the earnings is tonight. So I'm just looking at it now. The earnings is tonight. Intel beat on earnings as well. But I can't do it now, and you're not a member, so unfortunately I won't be able to set that up for you. If you were a member and you did a $5 super chat, I would have set up an earnings for you and covered it for you. But it's only $5, but I have to focus on the members, and you're not, so I have to decline from that. Right. Intel have beaten on earnings. We are keeping an eye on it. We've got 15 minutes to go to earnings. After the earnings call, I am going out for a walk. I need to get my head out of what we heard earlier with Donald Trump. I don't ever want to hear anything he has to say again after I heard that. I'm really done with it now. Just want to focus on this show. And we entered a whole new level today. Really disappointed. Here to party. Let's have a look. Will you be covering the earnings call? No, I won't. I remember when Martyn would say that to me. I hated it. So I became a member. All right. I'm just going to go and grab a drink. I'll be right back in 1 minute. Don't go away. Ugh. Okay. Oh, it's coming up now. Looking good. I'm up today. Saab. Yes. We're all up today, I think. Let's have a look at what is SPC. In fact, I do it this way. I'm just keeping an eye on that as well. The overall portfolio is doing well. There is Apple. SPCE. Yeah, just watching it. It's just taking a bit of a profit after hours tonight. We've got just 10 minutes to go before the call starts. What else we got here? Saab, Shergill. I'm up to date. Roth IRA is going up. Apple is bouncing around. It will come down to the conference tonight. Thoughts on Microsoft, Sam Fisher. I like Microsoft, and they did beat on earnings. Guidance was a bit worrying, but it's all to do with they are overbought anyway. They're too expensive. I don't mean the cost, but I mean the actual price. I don't mind something being expensive if it's worth that, but it's overpriced, too expensive, I'm afraid. Just 10 minutes to go. Keeping our eye on what's going on. Apple earnings. I've got this as the audio. Just checking the audio. Sounds really good, actually. Wish I could play it. It's very nice stereo separation. Really good, but if I play it to you, there'll be copyright issues, so I better not do that. But it does sound really good. Very good sound. I like that, whatever that is. Yeah. Very good. Very nice. I keep having a listen to it. It's very good. Rubicon. EPAM. The overall market looking green. It's been a very nice day today, up over $1,000, looking good. Martyn needs a beer or whiskey today. You need to get that stress off. Yes. Yes, indeed. Absolutely right. It's been horrible to hear that stuff earlier. I'll get rid of the stress later. Right. Okay. So Apple, we are just 10 minutes to go now. We're waiting for the call to begin. Very interested to what Tim Cook's going to say. CEO, of course, of Apple. The fear chart is interesting. It's neutral, right in the center here. So that's good. It's moved up from fear a couple of days ago. Oh, is Jerry and Elba here? And is Vanessa here? Are we the two of you here? By any chance? If so, let me know. I've got some new pictures to share in our mugs. Is space a buy now? Well, I can't tell you if it's a buy or not. We're just I gave you my thoughts, my analysis. You make that decision for yourself. I can't tell you what to do, but we've got a whole playlist of Virgin Galactic I've just put out. We are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week now on the extra channel, so you might want to watch that as well. Ah, 8 minutes ago, we're on standby for Apple earnings. The overall portfolio is going up. I'm going to keep my eye on Virgin Galactic as well because we're watching that very closely. Starting to go back up again. It sold off a minute ago after hours, but it's starting to go up again. 2 really good days for Virgin Galactic. We'll see how it pans out. We'll keep our eye on it. Let me have a quick look at XRP, our crypto. What's that doing? 313. Not a great deal. No, just going sideways, back up again. Yeah, going sideways. 511% in 3 months. Pretty impressive. I think you'll all agree. Apple. Just watch your space video. Namisha, which one? Which one was that? Which one did you watch? What's going on with NVIDIA? Nothing's going on with NVIDIA at all. That's the best way to explain it. Nothing's going on with NVIDIA at all. China has brought out a cheap rip-off version, which is cheaper to do. A bit like VHS, if you like, with Betamax. It's now given the opportunity to more people to buy into it. It's a good thing. NVIDIA will still be providing all the chips. NVIDIA is still going to be the same strong business as it was before. It overreacted. The markets always overreact. It was a great buying opportunity for you all. So yeah, nothing wrong with that. The network, not the networks. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Is it networks? What's the word I'm looking for? When enterprise money, yeah. The enterprise money still being spent with other businesses is the same. It's Microsoft and Google and everybody else. It's absolutely fantastic. Really, really good. The one you put out today, all the analysis, I think. Maybe that one. Okay. Hello, everyone. Andy Hawkins, good afternoon to you. Don't do it, Namisha. Very risky. It is very risky. Absolutely right. High risk gives high returns, though. There you go. Five minutes to go. Stand by for Apple earnings. Tends to go up after the earnings. If it's okay earnings, it beat on earnings. It's all to do with how Tim presents, which we know how he's going to present. But it's very opposite style than Elon Musk. He won't be coming out rah-rahing like a cheerleader. That's what you got last night for Elon. Everyone was buying it because of all the promises and all the excitement. He does that every time. Well, not every time, but nearly every time. Tim won't do that. He'll tell you about the products and how they've made progress, and that'll be it. What's your thoughts on Robinhood? Well, I did lots of reviews on Robinhood. I said it would go to $40. That was our target, and it smashed straight through. We bought it at $8. But that's it now, for now, and at least anyway. Right, 4 minutes to go. Robinhood's a great stock, yeah. It's a great business. Misunderstood by those who don't understand any businesses, really. Those that were upset with the GameStop situation, which wasn't even an issue. Okay, we are waiting for the call to begin. We've got 3 minutes. Apple, I expect, won't be more than a minute or so late. They're very good at that. Let's see how they go. Okay. Stand by. Stand by, stand by. Apple still selling off. 3 minutes to go. We're watching closely. You can see it's selling off. Quite a dip. It's oversold now on the RSI. But again, we don't use that for Apple. We are owners of Apple, not traders of it. Good opportunity to buy more. The S&P, if the NVIDIA was down today, but it's not. The overall markets are all up. All the financials are, that's what I mean. But if NVIDIA and Apple were both down at the same time, I'd probably buy some more S&P. Even if it's not down to my 20%, because they're down, everything else is up. So when they return, it would go flying up. They're the biggest part of it. I think about 15% of the S&P is Apple and NVIDIA. So anyway, but they're not cheap enough, either one. You got in at 16. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to you. Right, 2 minutes to go. One minute to go. Thank you for tuning in. If you like Apple earnings, please consider tapping the like button and consider subscribing to our channel. If the space management is unchanged, I'm not interested. I agree with you. Everyone feels like that. Everyone. You are dead right there, Namisha. Do you have the anniversary mugs in the online store still, or just the new ones? The anniversary mugs, in the original store we do, but there are new anniversary mugs coming on the new store. I hope that answers your question. Right, 1 minute to go. Stand by. I love this sound. Their audio is just fantastic. It's a stereo separation. I've got speakers around the room, and the way they're separating the sound is awesome. Very rarely you hear stereo like that these days, but they've done it. Sounds so good. I just can't play it to you because there'll be copyright, but there you go. Right, it's going down. This will bring the S&P up if it's good news. Right, I'm listening in. 10 seconds to go. Expect them to be a minute or two late, but no more than that. They're very accurate, really. Apple are one of the better ones. Right, it's now 3 o'clock. I'm listening in. Okay, I'm playing the audio to myself. You can't hear it. Just making sure it's all good. Okay. Waiting on the whiskey glasses, Martin. Yeah, they're coming. We've got lots of things coming soon. Right, here we go. Keep listening in. I'm playing the audio now. At the moment, here we go. This could be it.
Fiscal year 2025 earnings conference call. My name is Suhasini Chandramouli, Director of Investor Relations. Today's call is being recorded. Speaking first today are Apple CEO Tim Cook, and he'll be followed by CFO Kevin Parekh. After that, we'll open the call to questions from analysts. Please note that some of the information you'll hear during our discussion today will consist of forward-looking statements, including, without limitation, those regarding revenue, gross margin, operating expenses, other income and expense, taxes, capital allocation, and future business outlook, including the potential impact of macroeconomic conditions on the company's business and results of operations. These statements involve risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results or trends to differ materially from our forecast. For more information, please refer to the risk factors discussed in Apple's most recently filed annual report on Form 10-K and the Form 8-K filed with the SEC today, along with the associated press release. Apple assumes no obligation to update any forward-looking statements, which speak only as of the date they are made. I'd now like to turn the call over to Tim for introductory remarks.
Thank you, Suhasini. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the call. Before I talk about our results, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the devastating wildfires that impacted the Los Angeles area this month. From our retail teams to Apple TV Plus, Apple Music, Fitness Plus, Beats, and more, LA is home to many of our team members. Our thoughts are with everyone who is beginning the road to recovery. For our part, we are contributing to the relief efforts, and we will continue to support our teams and the local community. Now, turning to the quarter. Today, Apple is reporting revenue of $124.3 billion for the December quarter, up 4% from a year ago and an all-time record. EPS also set an all-time record of $2.40, 10% higher year over year. We achieved all-time revenue records across the majority of the countries and regions we track, including the Americas, Europe, Japan, and the rest of Asia Pacific. We also continue to see momentum in emerging markets, setting all-time revenue records in a number of markets, including Latin America, the Middle East, and South Asia, among others. In services, we achieved an all-time revenue record, and in the past year, we've seen nearly $100 billion in revenue from our services business. I'm also pleased to announce that we reached a new record for our installed base with over 2.35 billion active devices. In October, we released the first set of Apple Intelligence features in U.S. English for iPhone, iPad, and Mac, and we rolled out more features and expanded to more countries in December. Now, users can discover the benefits of these new features in the things they do every day. They can use writing tools to help find just the right words, create fun and unique images with Image Playground and Genmoji, handle daily tasks and seek out information with a more natural and conversational Siri, create movies of their memories with a simple prompt, and touch up their photos with Cleanup. We introduced visual intelligence with camera control to help users instantly learn about their surroundings. Users can also seamlessly access ChatGPT across iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. And we were excited to recently begin our international expansion with Apple Intelligence now available in Australia, Canada, New Zealand, South Africa, and the UK. We're working hard to take Apple Intelligence even further. In April, we're bringing Apple Intelligence to more languages, including French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, Japanese, Korean, and simplified Chinese, as well as localized English to Singapore and India. And we'll continue to roll out more features in the future, including an even more capable Siri. Apple Intelligence builds on years of innovations we've made across hardware and software to transform how users experience our products. Apple Intelligence also empowers users by delivering personal context that's relevant to them. And importantly, Apple Intelligence is a breakthrough for privacy and AI with innovations like private cloud compute, which extends the industry-leading security and privacy of Apple devices into the cloud. Apple Intelligence opens up an exciting new frontier and is already elevating experiences across iPhone, iPad, and Mac. We're going to keep investing in innovation and in transformative tools that help users in their everyday lives. Let me now turn to our results for the quarter, starting with iPhone. iPhone revenue came in at $69.1 billion, reaching all-time iPhone revenue records in dozens of markets and regions. Our iPhone 16 lineup takes the smartphone experience to the next level in so many ways, and Apple Intelligence is one of many reasons why customers are excited. With the A18-powered iPhone 16 and iPhone 16 Plus, users are getting a big boost in battery life and incredible camera experiences with camera control. Our amazingly powerful iPhone 16 Pro models go even further, with larger-than-ever displays and a Pro camera system so advanced it can turn moments into masterpieces. In Mac, revenue was $9 billion for the December quarter, 16% higher year over year, driven by significant excitement around the world for our latest Mac lineup. The Mac is more than just a powerful tool. It's a launchpad to enable users to bring their best ideas and boldest creations to life. And there are so many reasons to choose Mac, from the breathtaking performance of the M4 family of chips to the groundbreaking and growing capabilities of Apple Intelligence. Every product in the Mac lineup offers something extraordinary, whether that's the super portable MacBook Air, the powerhouse MacBook Pro, the world's best all-in-one iMac, or the small wonder that is the Mac Mini, which is not only stunningly capable, but is our first carbon-neutral Mac. All of this is enabled by the unparalleled power of Apple Silicon. iPad revenue was $8.1 billion, up 15% from a year ago, driven by strong interest for our latest products. We love hearing from customers who are discovering for the first time the versatility of iPad, from the ultra-portable iPad mini, built from the ground up for Apple Intelligence, to the powerful M4 iPad Pro in a stunningly thin and light design. iPad is there for our users whenever they need it and wherever they go, and we are pleased to see so much excitement and enthusiasm for our lineup. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue came in at $11.7 billion. With its most advanced display yet and a thinner, more comfortable design, the all-new Apple Watch Series 10 is the perfect companion to help users pursue their health and fitness goals this year. From the powerful Vitals app to more customizable activity rings, users have an ever-increasing set of innovative health tools at their fingertips and watchOS 11. Health innovation has long been a focus for us, and we're committed to continuing to advance this work because we know how much it matters to our users. We've introduced new hearing health features on AirPods Pro 2, and new sleep apnea notifications on Apple Watch are also helping users learn of a potentially serious condition that's thought to affect up to 1 billion people worldwide. During the quarter, we also brought Apple Vision Pro to even more countries, enabling more customers to discover the magic of spatial computing. Users are enjoying incredible, immersive entertainment experiences and powerful new features and enhancements to Mac Virtual Display. Vision Pro is also supercharging the creative process, and the incredibly talented director John M. Chu recently shared how its extraordinary capabilities helped him bring the movie Wicked to life. Turning to services, we set an all-time revenue record of $26.3 billion for the December quarter, growing 14% from a year ago. We set all-time records in the Americas, Europe, and rest of Asia Pacific, and a December quarter record in Japan. 5 years since launch, Apple TV Plus continues to be home to incredible storytelling that viewers love. There's nothing quite like the anticipation that comes when a fan favorite returns, and we were thrilled to debut the second season of Severance earlier this month. We have so much in store for our subscribers this year with new shows like The Studio and Your Friends and Neighbors. And we can't wait for the premiere of Formula One, starring Brad Pitt on June 27th, which will take viewers inside the sport in a truly unprecedented way. We're excited that Apple TV Plus continues to draw attention and accolades. To date, Apple TV Plus productions have earned more than 2,500 nominations and 538 wins. During the quarter, we were also excited to launch a new Find My service that can help our users when they lose their luggage. For the first time, if you put an AirTag in your suitcase, you'll be able to share its location information with many major airlines so they can quickly track down your bags if they get lost. Turning to retail, our teams went above and beyond to help customers find the perfect gift throughout the holiday season. We also celebrated openings of new stores in China, Spain, and the US. And we were excited to announce plans to connect with even more customers this year by adding a fifth store in the UAE and bringing our online store to Saudi Arabia this summer. We can't wait to welcome customers to the first of several flagship store locations in Saudi Arabia that we're opening beginning in 2026. I just had the chance to visit both countries last month, and I had a great time meeting with customers and team members. There's an incredible energy and passion for technology in these growing markets. Every day, I get deeply moving notes about the many ways our technology is enriching our users' lives. I recently got a note from a customer who put his watch on his father's wrist when he feared something was wrong with him. The watch alerted them that the father was in AFib, and they were able to get him to the hospital for potentially life-saving treatment. Another user put his new watch on for the first time and within 15 minutes was notified of a low heart rate that led to a necessary pacemaker. And there are so many touching notes around the profound impact of our new hearing health feature, like a recent user who told me it had changed her life, allowing her to take part in conversations with her children and grandchildren. These are the kind of stories that remind us of how profoundly important our work is, and it drives us to innovate each and every day. At Apple, the future is full of promise and potential. We're always searching across a world of possibilities, finding those places where we can do the most good and putting all of our energy and ingenuity into making something special. With that, I'll turn it over to Kevin.
Thanks, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to cover the results for the first quarter of our fiscal year. We are very pleased to report an all-time high for revenue, with December quarter revenue of $124.3 billion, up 4% year over year. We achieved all-time revenue records in the Americas, Europe, Japan, and rest of Asia Pacific, and grew in the vast majority of markets we track. Products revenue was $98 billion, up 2% year over year, driven by growth from iPad and Mac. Thanks to our incredible customer satisfaction and strong loyalty, our install base of active devices reached an all-time high across all products and geographic segments, and is now over 2.35 billion active devices. Services revenue reached an all-time record of $26.3 billion, up 14% year over year. We grew in every geographic segment and achieved all-time records in both developed and emerging markets. Company gross margin was 46.9% at the high end of our guidance range and up 70 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by favorable mix. Products gross margin was 39.3%, up 300 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by favorable mix and leverage. Services gross margin was 75%, up 100 basis points sequentially, primarily driven by mix. Operating expenses of $15.4 billion landed at the midpoint of our guidance range and up 7% year over year. This strong business performance resulted in all-time records for both net income at $36.3 billion and diluted earnings per share of $2.40, up 10% year over year. Operating cash flow was also strong at $29.9 billion, which included the impact of the $11.9 billion we paid during the quarter in connection with the state aid decision. Now, I'm going to provide some more details for each of our revenue categories. iPhone revenue was $69.1 billion, roughly flat to the prior year. We grew in the majority of markets we track and reached all-time revenue records in several developed markets, including Canada, Western Europe, and Japan, and in emerging markets like Latin America, the Middle East, and South Asia. The iPhone active install base grew to an all-time high in total and in every geographic segment. We also set an all-time record for upgraders. According to a recent survey from Kantar, during the December quarter, iPhone was a top-selling model in the US, urban China, India, the UK, France, Australia, and Japan. We continue to see high levels of customer satisfaction in the US at 96%, as measured by 451 Research. Mac generated $9 billion in revenue, up 16% year over year. We saw strength across our lineup, from the new Mac Mini to the latest MacBook Air and MacBook Pro models. This incredible performance was broad-based, with double-digit growth in every geographic segment. With our latest advances in Apple Silicon and our fastest neural engine ever, customers are able to take advantage of the full capabilities of AI and Mac. The Mac install base reached an all-time high, and we saw double-digit growth for both upgraders and customers new to the Mac. Additionally, customer satisfaction in the US was recently measured at 94%. iPad revenue was $8.1 billion, up 15% year over year, driven by the new iPad mini and latest iPad Air. The iPad install base reached another all-time high, and over half of the customers who purchased an iPad during the quarter were new to the product. Customer satisfaction was at 96% in the US, based on the latest reports from 451 Research. Wearables, home, and accessories revenue was $11.7 billion, down 2% year over year. Customers are excited about the new AirPods 4 and the latest hearing health features in AirPods Pro 2. On Watch, although we face a difficult compare against a Watch Ultra 2 launch last year, the Apple Watch install base reached a new all-time high, with over half of customers purchasing an Apple Watch during the quarter being new to the product. Customer satisfaction for Watch in the US was reported at 94%. Our services revenue reached an all-time high of $26.3 billion, up 14% year over year. Services continues to see strong momentum, and the growth of our install base of active devices gives us great opportunities for the future. We also see increased customer engagement with our services offerings. Both transacting and paid accounts reached new all-time highs, with paid accounts growing double digits year over year. Paid subscriptions also grew double digits. We have well over 1 billion paid subscriptions across the services on our platform. We remain focused on improving the breadth and quality of our services offerings, from new games on Apple Arcade to exciting new programming on Fitness Plus, and the continued expansion of features like Tap to Pay, now live in 20 markets. Turning to enterprise, we have seen businesses continue to expand their deployments of our products and services. Deutsche Bank launched its Mac as Choice program for their developers, and also issued the latest MacBook Air as a standard computer for their entire mortgage lending division. And we're excited to see leading enterprises such as SAP leverage Apple Intelligence in the US, with features like writing tools, summarize, and priority notifications to enhance both their employee and customer experiences. We also see strong demand in our emerging markets. For example, Zomato, a leading food ordering and delivery company in India, has deployed thousands of Macs across their workforce to foster innovation. And Vision Pro continues to see more use cases in enterprise, with Cisco's new spatial meetings delivering a fully immersive video conferencing experience for remote collaboration and learning. Let me quickly summarize our cash position and capital return program. We ended the quarter with $141 billion in cash and marketable securities. We repaid $1 billion in maturing debt and decreased commercial paper by $8 billion, resulting in $97 billion in total debt. Therefore, net cash at the end of the quarter was $45 billion. During the quarter, we returned over $30 billion to shareholders. This included $3.9 billion in dividends and equivalents and $23.3 billion through open market repurchases of 100 million Apple shares. As usual, we will provide an update to our capital return program when we report results for the March quarter. As we move ahead into the March quarter, I'd like to review our outlook, which includes the types of forward-looking information that Suhasini referred to at the beginning of the call. The color we're providing today assumes that the macroeconomic outlook doesn't worsen from what we're projecting today for the current quarter. As the dollar has strengthened significantly, we expect foreign exchange to be a headwind and to have a negative impact on revenue of about 2.5 percentage points on a year-over-year basis. Despite that headwind, we expect our March quarter total company revenue to grow low to mid-single digits year over year. We expect services revenue to grow low double digits year over year. When you remove the negative impact of the foreign exchange headwinds I described earlier, the year-over-year growth rate would be comparable to that of the December quarter. We expect gross margin to be between 46.5% and 47.5%. We expect operating expenses to be between $15.1 billion and $15.3 billion. We expect OI&E to be around negative $300 million, excluding any potential impact from the mark-to-market of minority investments, and our tax rate to be around 16%. Finally, today our board of directors has declared a cash dividend of 25 cents per share of common stock payable on February 13th, 2025, to shareholders of record as of February 10th, 2025. With that, let's open the call to questions.
Thank you, Kevin.
And if you
We
are in the
ask that you
SNP,
limit
of
yourself
course,
to 2
you will get
questions.
that.
Operator,
You'll get that
may we
added
have the first
to your
question, please?
SNP because you own it on the SNP.
Certainly.
So
We
it's
will
all
go
good.
ahead and take our first question from Eric Woodring with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Great, guys. Thanks so much for for taking my questions. Tim, in your prepared remarks, you had noted that iPhone 16 models are selling better in markets where Apple Intelligence is available. And I'm just wondering if you could double click on that comment a bit and share any other details you believe could, better help us understand how Apple Intelligence is really impacting iPhone demand, and or what features you find that users are using most often already. And then I just have a quick follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, Eric. Hi, it's Tim. We did see that the markets where we had rolled out Apple Intelligence, that the year-over-year performance on the iPhone 16 family was stronger than those where Apple Intelligence was not available. In terms of the features that people are using, they're using all of the ones that I'd referenced in my opening comments, from writing tools to image playground and Genmoji, to visual intelligence and more. And so we see all of those being used. The cleanup is another one that is popular, and people love seeing that one demoed in the stores as well. We only had 2.5 weeks or so during the December quarter of the second release of 18.2, and then only had the UK and the other English language countries for the 2.5 weeks. And so we've got just the early indications at the moment. But we were glad.
Okay, that's really helpful.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. No, thank you for that color, Tim. It's helpful. And then, if we just touch on China, obviously in the news fairly frequently, if we set aside China macro, which I understand is still challenging, can you maybe talk about the headwinds that Apple faces, whether that's, shifting preferences for Western technology brands in favor of domestic vendors, or is this just a function of not necessarily having Apple Intelligence available with the iPhone 16, which is not necessarily helping replacement cycles. Just maybe double clicking on what you think and what you're hearing in China as it relates to the iPhone. Thanks so much.
Yeah, sure. If you look at our Greater China revenue for the quarter, we were down 11% year over year. And over half of the decline that we experienced was driven by a change in channel inventory from the beginning to the end of the quarter. And of course, on the Apple Intelligence side, we have not rolled out in China. And as we just talked about, we did see better results in the markets that we had rolled out in than markets we hadn't rolled out in. And of course, it's the most competitive market in the world. And so all of those things are true. In terms of the macro situation, there was a fiscal stimulus or subsidy announced very recently in January that did not affect the December quarter. There were some provincial subsidies in the December quarter, but the national program was announced, I believe, on January 20th. And it does cover the categories that we have products in, from smartphones to tablets and PCs and smartwatches, up to a maximum price point. And so we do see fiscal stimulus occurring, and we'll be glad to talk about what that looks like on the next call.
Great. Thanks so much, Tim. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Operator, can we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Ben Reitzes with Melius. Please go ahead.
Hey, guys. Thanks a lot for the question. And hey, Tim, wanted to ask you, you knew this one was coming, but there's a perception that you're a big beneficiary of lower cost of compute. And I was wondering if you could give your worldly perspective here on the DeepSeek situation, and if you if anything's happened to change your views in terms of a tailwind to margins and your ability to execute, even due to the potential for costs to come down due to that development, and probably what was going to happen anyway. But I'd love your perspective on that, and then have a quick follow-up. Thanks.
Sure. In general, I think innovation that drives efficiency is a good thing, and that's what you see in that model. Our tight integration of silicon and software, I think, will continue to serve us very well. As you know, we do things on the device and we do things in the private cloud, and which mimics from an architectural point of view what happens on device. And from a CapEx point of view, we've always taken a very prudent and deliberate approach to our expenditure, and we continue to leverage a hybrid model, which I think continues to serve us well.
Oh, great. All right. Thanks, Tim. And then, just with regard to, the iPhone trajectory, do you feel like, I guess, you obviously don't talk about new products and stuff like that, but do you feel that there's a lot of room for form factor innovation in the future, or do you feel that that the current lineup kind of shows where you're going? I guess without pulling punches, wondering if you thought, in terms of the phone innovation, if there's a lot more to come, and you could see the kind of current market changing a bit over the next 2 to 3 years. Thanks.
I think there's a lot more to come, and I could not feel more optimistic about our product pipeline. So I think there's a lot of innovation left on the smartphone.
Thanks a lot, Tim.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Operator, could we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Michael Ng with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the question. I have two as well. First, it was encouraging to hear about the record for iPhone upgraders, which I think is something you haven't said for about a year now. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what you would attribute this upgrade strength to. Has Apple Intelligence played a role in helping upgrades in the markets that you've launched in? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for the question. If you look at iPhone, we did set an all-time record for upgraders, so we've never seen a higher level of upgraders before. The install base hit a new all-time high as well. And if you look at the 16 compared to the 15,
top tip for you
launch,
guys,
which occurred
SPY,
in September. So
remember it's the same as the S&P. It has more
quarters from September to the end of the December
liquidity
quarter,
and volume has already popped on this. VU hasn't.
I think
so
you can conclude from that
free
that
money
there are
on the
compelling
table.
reasons to upgrade. And
this is SPY.
And in the markets where we had launched Apple Intelligence, they outperformed the markets that we did not.
And VU hasn't.
So
it will do, though.
Tim,
yeah, lots of good color there.
You can buy VU underpriced right now.
Thank you, Tim. That's very clear.
It'll
and
pop
then
up
I
later.
had one about the iPad Pro M4, the thinner version. I was just wondering if you could talk about that thin form factor for the iPad Pro.
Free money there, folks.
How did it help iPad sales overall, and what did your kind of market and consumer research tell you about how consumers valued that thin product form factor? Thank you.
It's a good question.
You see, it hasn't moved yet.
iPad overall grew 15% for the quarter, and it was more driven by iPad Air and the entry-level iPad than it was the top-level iPad. But overall, we could not be more pleased with the iPad category growing 15%. It's a great achievement for the quarter. And probably what is most important is that over half of the sales in the December quarter went to customers who were new to the iPad. So that tells us that, there's a good amount.
Obviously, I don't know if Apple's going to go back down again. I'm not making a prediction. I'm just saying it hasn't reacted yet.
Thank you very much, Tim.
That's all I'm saying.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Operator, could we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Amit Daryanani from Evercore. Please go ahead.
Yep. Good afternoon, everyone. I have two as well. Maybe to start with, you folks are seeing some very robust growth trends in emerging markets right now for Apple products. Can you just, at a high level, just talk about the durability of growth that you see in emerging markets? And then do you think the summation of these emerging markets are starting to get big enough or perhaps starting to grow fast enough that they can actually offset some of the China headwinds you're going through?
We have great results in a number of emerging markets. And as you know from past calls, I'm particularly keen on India. India set a December quarter record during the quarter. And we're opening more stores there. We've announced that we're going to open 4 new stores there. We also, the iPhone was the top selling model in India for the quarter. And it's the second largest smartphone market in the world and the third largest for PCs and tablets. And so there's a huge market. And we have very modest share in these markets. And so I think there's lots of upside there. And that's just one of the emerging markets.
Yeah, Tim, maybe I'll add, Amit, then emerging markets we're also seeing double-digit growth on the install base, both in total and for the iPhone as well. So that's also an encouraging sign.
Perfect, thank you. And then, I guess just a question on gross margins for the March quarter. You folks are guiding gross margins flattish on a sequential basis. Typically, I think it tends to be guided up a little bit, 50 basis points, so sequentially. Can we just touch on, what are the offsets of the puts and takes you're seeing on gross margins? And, Kevin, maybe you can just talk about, is FX having an outsized impact in your margin profile as well in March?
Yeah, so let me take that one. As we mentioned in my remarks, we're guiding to 46.5% to 47.5%. So we think it's, we're very pleased with that level of guidance. As you mentioned, there's always puts and takes. We do think there's going to be some FX headwinds, which we talked about, that's going to affect, our revenue growth as well. To have an impact here on the margin, a sequential impact on margins. But we think that's going to be offset by, favorable costs and the relative mix of services. We also, as you know, when we move from Q1 to Q2, especially on the product side, because Q1 is such a large quarter for our products business, we do have, a loss of leverage. So there are some puts and takes, and I think, we feel good about the range. We think it's a very, very strong guide for gross margin.
Thanks, Amit. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Wamsi Mohan with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Tim, I want to follow up on your comment about channel inventory in China. I was wondering if you could maybe address more broadly if channel inventory across your different product lines and regions, do you feel they're elevated or out of range in any other regions? And given the clearing event that kind of happened in China, I guess, in the quarter, should we think of a more normal progression quarter on quarter into the March quarter in China in particular? And I have a follow-up.
Yeah, I don't want to project sales for the current quarter by region, but if you look at the channel inventory and look at iPhone in the aggregate, so on a worldwide basis, we're very comfortable with our channel inventory position. In China, my point was that our channel inventory reduced from the beginning of the quarter to the end of the quarter, and that was over half of the reduction in the reported results. And so if you look, part of the reason for that is that our sales were a bit higher than we forecasted them to be toward the end of the quarter. And so we ended a little leaner than we had expected to.
Okay, that's very clear. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And then maybe as my follow-up, your services growth has been very strong, and I know you've kind of been navigating some pretty challenging regulatory burdens on the business globally. So how should investors think about maybe either a top line or margin headwind that, let's say, you're currently absorbing in your results that could potentially maybe reverse in a more balanced regulatory environment? Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I think I just wanted to kind of reiterate the fact that, our services business at an all-time record for the December quarter, up 14%. And that was one strength that we saw across all geographic segments, and also it was very broad-based across all of our services. So we have, as you know, a very broad services portfolio. And so we do see, good momentum across the board. And as well, we continue to see, increasing engagement across the customer base, across all of the service offerings, both transacting and paid accounts. We talked about, reaching all-time highs, and we have over now 1 billion paid subscriptions, across the services platform.
All right. Thanks, Wamsi. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Samik Chatterjee with JP Morgan. Please go ahead.
Hi, thanks for taking my questions. I guess for the first one, you had a great quarter on Macs and iPads both, and I'm just curious in terms of if you can help us think about the sustainability of this double-digit growth that you saw in both the product lines. And more interested also here, we are talking about Apple Intelligence sort of influencing volumes on iPhones, but any thoughts on sort of what does that influence look like in terms of volumes for Macs, for example, where I think there's a lot of conversation around AI PCs, how you're thinking about the impact there? And I have a quick follow-up. Thank you.
Yeah, if you look at Mac, Mac was up 16%, and on iPad we were up 15%. The Mac was driven by a very strong uptake on our new products during the quarter. and the continued success of the MacBook Air. And so, as you know, we launched an M4-based MacBook Pro, an iMac, and a Mac Mini during the quarter.
There you go, folks. There was free
we've
money
got the
for you.
best AI
I gave you the
PC
tip
out
there. Free money
for
from
running
Apple.
workloads. The silicon.
Who took advantage of the free
in
money?
The Mac is and it has been for several years now.
There was free money there for everybody.
Designed by us and really
You're
designed
welcome, by
for
the
these
way.
Workloads. And so, but I don't want to project
Best
at the
tip of the year.
at the category level for the future. But we're incredibly pleased with both the Mac and the iPad for the quarter.
Best tip of the year, that was.
Okay. And Tim, I'm going to use your earlier discussion about India as a strong emerging market to sort of ask you about the supply chain planning there in terms of how much of the supply chain planning there that you're doing is more of a reflection of the growth expectations from that market relative to in terms of more diversification of the supply chain, and how should we sort of think about that strategy relative to
Namisha,
that
this is
particular
Robin Hood.
country?
Robin Hood is
If you look at,
24/7.
the manufacturing
5 days a
we
week.
do there, we do manufacturing both for the domestic market and we export. And so in our business needs a certain economies of scale for it to make sense to manufacture in country. And so that really means that we're going to be both a use for the domestic market and an export market.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Samik. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our
Vaz,
next question
I've
is from
added
David
the
Vogt with UBS. Please go
assets
ahead.
into the shared folder on Google Drive.
Great. Thanks, guys, for taking my question. So maybe, Tim, this is for you. I'm trying to think about your commentary around Apple Intelligence being sort of a momentum driver for the iPhone business. But when I think about your kind of framework for the March quarter, if I kind of adjust for channel inventory over the last couple of years, kind of feels like your iPhone revenue for the March quarter is going to be relatively similar to the quarter 2 years ago and even the quarter last year. So how do we square kind of the momentum versus kind of the iPhone business effectively really kind of unchanged over the last couple of years? And then second, when I think about kind of the gross margin profile of the business, obviously you've done a great job in taking gross margins up. Where do you think we sit in terms of, on the services side at least, where margins could go? It looks like, the 75% margin's been an incredibly successful quarter, but just trying to get a sense for where do you think this number could go over the intermediate term? Thank you.
Yeah, if you look at Apple Intelligence, what my point earlier was that markets where we had rolled out Apple Intelligence during the Q1 period performed better on a year-over-year basis than markets where we had not, and so that gives us it's a positive indicator that we were pleased with.
Best tip of the year.
There
That
are many
was.
compelling reasons to
I hope you all
upgrade.
took that. There was
And
free money there.
The other thing I would say that I think I mentioned earlier is that if you look at it from a launch to the end of the December quarter, and so that goes back to September, the 16 family is outperforming the 15 family. And so I think those are two good data points. Our next round
I made
of
$800
language rollouts
in 1
will
second.
be in April. And so it will be in our Q3 quarter. And I'll let Kevin take the gross margin question.
Yep, great. Hi, David. How are you? So on the services gross margin, I think maybe stepping back a second. Services business in general in aggregate is accretive to the overall company margin. And one of the things that's an important reminder is we have a very broad services portfolio, and those businesses have very different margin profiles. And so I think one, it's because of the nature of those businesses, and in part also because of the way we account for them. And so one of the big factors that drives the services gross margins is the relative performance of those different businesses within the portfolio. We also have the dynamic of some scale businesses like payment services, iCloud, that are actually growing. And there, when we add incremental users, those end up being, accretive to margins as well. And so in general, what we saw in the December quarter was nice momentum across our entire services business that allows us to deliver, that 75% margin at the services level. And I think our guidance takes into consideration, what we think we're going to land from a company standpoint at 46.5 to 47.5, which again we think is a strong guide.
Great, thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, David. Operator, could we have the next question, please?
Our next question is from Krish Sankar with TD Cowen. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my question. I also had two of them. The first one for Tim. You had very strong Mac growth, 16% year over year last quarter. Just wondering how much of that was driven by some of the Mac silicon innovation versus a replacement cycle for Macs?
I don't know the answer to your question precisely, but I think it is a combination of these products are so compelling. The M4-based products are so compelling that it's driving both upgrades at the double-digit level, and it's driving switchers at a double-digit level. And so we're seeing both come out, and I think it's just because of the compelling products.
Got it. Thanks to the Tim. And then a follow-up for Kevin on the gross margin. I want to ask you more on the product side. Last quarter you had 39.3%, which is very strong, similar to a year ago period. I'm kind of curious, how much more levels do you have on the product side to improve the gross margin, or do you think with some of the more new AI-related devices, there's more upside to gross margin from here on the product hardware side?
This is what you did, isn't it, Namisha?
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for the question. So on the product side, as you mentioned, we
Tap
had
the cogs.
Pretty strong sequential improvement, 300 basis points.
Show all hours.
For the December quarter, that was really driven by, we talked about favorable mix and leverage. As you know, in Q1, again, it's a launch quarter for many products, and so we tend to benefit from the leverage that we get from that higher volume. I would say in general, our gross margin for products is driven by a number of factors. One of them is the various product launches that we have. Different products do have different margin profiles, and so that mix does make a difference. And in particular, what we're seeing is, for example, many of our mixes across, like phone, for example, we're seeing customers gravitate towards our Pro products, because of things like affordability that allows our customers to get into our best products, which have favorable gross margins. So we're continuing to see that trend. That impacted us in the December quarter as well. I think we're in a favorable commodity environment from a cost standpoint, and so we're benefiting from that as well in the December quarter. And then that's going to be, as we talked about, we're going to have a foreign exchange headwind heading into the March quarter, but we figured that's contemplated in the guidance range that we gave of the 46.5 to 47.5%.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you, Krish. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Richard Kramer with Arete Research. Please go ahead.
Thanks very much. My first question is for Tim. I'd like to ask about what might accelerate the pace of Apple Intelligence adoption. I guess, do you see this simply as a question of time, i.e. to launch more markets and languages or increase the percentage of installed base devices that can support it? Or is it a question of money, i.e. shifting R&D or marketing spend towards AI? And based on other prior Apple services, do you expect a sort of tipping point where adoption will go mainstream? Thanks.
I do believe it will go mainstream from people using different features today. And this is, keep in mind that on the iPhone side of our business, you either have to have an iPhone 15 Pro or iPhone 16 to use Apple Intelligence. And so as that base grows, I think the usage will continue to grow. And I think I know from my own personal experience, once you start using the features, you can't imagine not using them anymore. I know I get hundreds of emails a day, and the summarization function is so important. So I think it's a combination of that. And of course, in April, we roll out a whole series of new languages that we had mentioned. And so the base grows further.
Okay, thank you. And then Kevin, one of Luca's legacies was really getting Apple to record margin levels and also maintaining very consistent pricing across the product range. But taking the current high levels of profitability as fairly stable, what observations might you share about price sensitivity of users and whether having a wider range of pricing across the products might unlock potentially further market share gains or boost overall product growth?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, one, I don't think we're going to really depart from what served us pretty well to now. I mean, we always take into consideration, looking at short-term trade, comparisons between the short-term and the long-term. I think we've had a pretty disciplined pricing strategy, which has served us pretty well. And I think we're going to, continually kind of stick with that as far as I can tell.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Richard. Operator, could we get the next question, please?
Our next question is from Atif Malik with Citi. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. How do you guys see the potential tariff impact to your products or consumer demand under Trump 2.0? You guys did fine under Trump 1.0.
We are monitoring the situation and don't have anything more to add than that.
Great. And Tim, as a follow-up, there is a lot of discussion on agentic AI, the use of agents. Do you guys see the upgraded Siri expected in April as something that will, let's say, be the killer application among the suite of features that you have announced on Apple Intelligence?
I think the killer feature is different for different people. But I think for most, they're going to find that they're going to use many of the features every day. And certainly one of those is Siri, and that will be coming over the next several months.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Atif. Operator, could we please get the last question?
Our last question is from Ben Bollin from Cleveland Research Company. Please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for taking the question. Tim, I'm interested in your thoughts in how you would have us think about the average useful life of these devices in the wild. And in particular, curious if you look at the strength you saw in fiscal 21 and how that might support accelerated refresh opportunity into the future.
Yeah, Ben, I think it's different for different types of users. I mean, you have very early adopter kind of users that are very quick to jump on the latest technology that upgrade very frequently. And then you have people that are on the entire opposite side of that barbell. And most people are between those two points. And so I do think there were lots of units that are sold during the COVID period of time. And it's a huge opportunity for us as a company for more than one of the product categories.
That's it for me. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Ben. I guess that's it. A replay of today's call will be available for 2 weeks on Apple.
You can tell she's never done an Apple earnings before because Tim Cook just finishes. There's no final remarks. There's no thank you. There's no goodbye. It's just the last question, end. And obviously she was a new event organizer, and she didn't know that. So that's why it just suddenly, it's ended. Yep, this is what Tim Cook does. He takes the last question, answers it, done. No goodbye, no thank you, no final thoughts. After 4 years of covering Apple earnings, you notice different styles. I think it's a bit rude. Why not just thank your investors? Why not just summarize? But no, that's the way they do things. There's no apology, there's no thank you, there's no goodbye. Right, that's it from me. There was free money on the table there. Sleepless took it. What exactly happened there? Apple is over 7% of the S&P 500. It popped up. You could simply do your calculation to realize that the S&P hadn't moved in VU. The S&P had moved, VU hadn't. Why? Because VU, unlike SPY, doesn't have the volume, doesn't have the liquidity. That's the same. That's one of the issues. Why, and that's why it's 0.03 rather than I think 0.09. It's a third of the price for the management fee. The way it works, the SPY is designed for very, very quick trading. However, it's not really worth it to you paying 3 times the management fee for trading a couple of times a day, or you've got to trade millions of times a day to make it viable. And what you saw there, the moment Apple went up, so did SPY immediately. However, VU is designed for long-term investors who want to just hold or trade now and again. So effectively, you can play that into your advantage because it hadn't moved. It hadn't moved. And I said, jump in on the VU because it's about to go up a couple of percent. And it did. In fact, it was about, actually, I'll tell you a lie. It was 1%. It was a 1% jump, and it jumped 1%. It started to come back down now, but you could have taken your profit if you wanted to. Not suggesting you buy. I'm not advising anyone to do that, but that's what happens. If you've got a stock, it only really works for Apple and Nvidia. Everything else, you just won't measure it. It's too small. But Apple particularly, if Apple suddenly goes up, you know that VU is about to go up. It's like the best crystal ball you can ever have. You're not going to get it on any other. There's nothing else that tells you the future of the stock market. This does. It's really, really quite great. So if Apple suddenly goes up 3%, 4%, 5% swing like we saw, VU will move about 5 minutes later. So you've got a few minutes to buy it, get in. Now, just because the price is where it is, doesn't mean to say you're going to get it. You've got to set a limit order. And remember, because it's moving all the time, you might not get the price you want. That's the thing. It's always moving. You just don't see it. But doesn't always work out like that. But that's why you got to set a limit order. Don't just buy, because you might end up buying higher even though it's not displayed yet. That's how it works. You do a limit order and you're pretty much guaranteed free money. Then you can sell it and that's great. So that's how that works. It's pretty good, right? And if Apple goes down and the VU is up, you can sell some VU because in a minute it's going to go down. So again, it's the best way to trade for free. You just got to use limit orders and realize a 1% gain or a 1% loss is all you're going to get, really. But even so, it's free money, right? If you were selling all of your S&P in and out, it's a way to make a lot of money. I'll remember that for next time. That's probably my best tip I've ever given you. I reckon that's a great one, isn't it? Anyway, there you go. Let's have a look. Let's go, said Sightless. Yeah, I just buy an index fund. Yes, I only own the S&P for integrity of the show. That's why I do it. Another great day. There you go. I'm up nearly $2,000 today, $1,814. Very nice indeed. The Apple did well. My Roth IRA has done well. The overall balance, 151, 152. We're just about another all-time high. Haven't got a sell. Haven't got a short, haven't even got a trade. There it is. Just keep making all-time highs. I've now got 230, 260, 266, 266, 2, $266,000 and $200. And I started with $5,000. There it is. Not bad, right? Never done options, never shorted, don't own any crypto, not selling anything, and I've got $266,000. Not too bad at all. What a great night that was. Well, it's now time for me to go and chill out and relax, I think. And what a day that was. And a bit of unpleasantness earlier, but there it was. When is Joseph scheduled to come back on, Martyn? I missed the last one. I haven't got a scheduled date at the moment. I'll let you know, and you'll know in advance because I put it on all my social media. I'll remember that one for next time. I bet you will. That's why Apple does what it does. Did you see it went all the way down, like a 3% and then up? It had like a 6% swing. Imagine if you'd done that both times on the S&P. I mean, you go, oh, it's gone down 3%. You can sell the S&P because you know it's going to go down in a minute. You got like 5 minutes. You get a drop of 1%. Then you saw Apple go up. What was it? Was it a 6% swing? 3% down for it? Yeah, it was like a 6% swing all the way up to the top. You got 5 minutes. You buy back in the S&P. You do it again. It's brilliant, really, isn't it? Anyway, these are the little tips and tricks. Let's go. I'll remember that. If only I could get VU in the UK. You will soon. Robinhood are going to add it, so don't worry about that. 5.56 up today. Thanks to you, Martyn. I was never every day up. You remember account about my eToro? Yes, I do remember your eToro. Well, you know, you're not going to be up every day, but you're going to be up overall. I mean, that's all that really matters. If we go to the 1 year to date, that's all that matters. Is that 25 grand in a year? That's all that really matters. It's been 30 grand, it's like 30%. That's all that really matters, is that you're up going forward. The days in between are just days to buy more and build the position. That's all you're doing. People worry about the ins and outs. It doesn't really make a difference. If only I could get VU in Sweden. Oh. Well, there are similar things you can get in Sweden. But anyway, I've got to go. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope everyone tapped the like button. Thank you. I hope everyone considers subscribing. Thank you. I'm going to send you all now to the extra channel. We've got 24 hours a day watch on Virgin Galactic now. The next thing that you're going to see, quite more than likely, is a Virgin Galactic short squeeze. This is the moment we start. This is the exact moment. Like the exact moment. It was 10 o'clock. Was it yesterday, the 29th? It was there. We've put the video out, and I said to you, it's going to pop up on this video. There's probably some people who went, oh, yeah, of course you can, yeah. But it did, and it's been going up ever since. Volume is up. I've got big investors calling me saying we're buying it. You've seen it pop up as I go and start a live stream. We've got 30% short interest. Don't be surprised if we double in price and go straight to $10. It's not financial advice. It's very risky, but it could easily happen. Volume is going up with these videos. I'm not going to do them all the time because not that many people are watching. And, I'm not roaring kitty. I'm not pumping it for myself. I'm doing it for you guys, but I don't make any money it going up. All I'm doing is working all day for nothing because the videos are only getting a couple hundred views rather than I could have 10,000, 20,000 and earn money, unfortunately. So I can't do it like I used to do it. There just isn't the interest at the moment for Virgin Galactic. And if I just kept doing it, yes, the stock would go up and yes, there would be attention to it and you'd all make money, but I wouldn't earn anything because no one's watching these videos. It's very, very low numbers. The reason why it's going up is because I'm doing it and there are people then who I'm speaking to, big investors that are buying it and they're pumping it up. just because they know I'm doing it. They're not actually sat all day long watching the videos. But you saw that I could get 100,000, 130,000 for XRP, 13,000, 20,000, 40,000 for NVIDIA. I earn money. Today we had a couple hundred views for each of these. So I can't do it every day, all day, every day, like I used to, because now I've got to make the show pay. I've got to earn some money. So there it is. Anyway, thank you very much indeed. Now join me on the extra channel. The link's in the chat. I need to go and relax. It's been very stressful today. All sorts of drama going on in the world, and it brings me down, if I'm honest. But hopefully you've had a good day. Have you heard from Andy Shovel lately? I'm not going to say or deny anything, Vaz. I'm just going to leave it like that. That's it from me. Thank you very much indeed. I'm out of here. Have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow morning, it's important. Why is tomorrow important? Oh my God. Something else important we got to watch tomorrow. Well, yeah, if you're an investor, you do. What's important tomorrow? Do you not know? There's the homepage. You should know. Tomorrow morning. CPI, inflation data, rate cut, 100%. What do I mean by that? Well, tomorrow morning, if we get good CPI data, I think we will, you've just given yourself a 100% guarantee of rate cuts in March. The market will like it. Can you afford to miss the show in the morning? I think not. That's it for me. Music party important tomorrow. Yes. Oh, yes, I miss him. Oh, you're Andy Shovel. Music channel. Yeah. We need NVIDIA to head back and up to it's been a painful week. Has it? Not really. It's consolidating. Just wait. This is a chance for you to buy more. Load up on the S&P. I'm loving it. I do not have a problem with this at all. That's it from me. Have a wonderful evening. Till next time, folks. I need to relax. I need a big cup of tea. I need a biscuit. And I need to not turn on the news for a while. What I heard today was ridiculous. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.